Hey guys, in this section we're going to talk about ethical hacking process. So the first step we're going to talk about is preparation steps for penetration testing. What are the things that needs to be done before we actually start testing? So we mentioned this a few times, but it is really important. Agreement and documentation is very important part of the preparation. Obviously, a non-disclosure agreement or an NDA has to be in place between both parties to respect each other's obviously confidentiality. There might be a lot of, documents and information communicated between these two parties that could be confidential. The scope of work needs to be agreed. Definitely, that's an important part of the whole agreement. So obviously, you need to make sure that the customer agrees with the work that you're doing and what is included, what is excluded out of the scope of the work, and what are the boundaries. Contract and approval. So obviously, the legal aspect of the whole penetration testing is very important. You need to make sure that there is a contract, that the scope of work is clear on the contract. Obviously, responsibilities are clear and the requirements are clear, as well as the outcome. And that is obviously signed by both parties. And notification. So it's very important to notify and communicate business and the customer about what needs to be done and different stages of the penetration testing. So that is also an important part that needs to be kept in mind. Preparing the environment. So environment is definitely an important part of any penetration testing. You need to make sure that you have an environment that you can actually focus and work in that environment easily and freely. So you might need a penetration team as part of that. Obviously, you might need to decide to have different people allocated to different tasks on penetration testing, which you might just get the idea in the future slides, obviously, when we talk about different phases of the penetration testing. Systems and tools, obviously, you need to make sure that you have what is needed, obviously, to start doing your work and penetration testing. So there are different tools and different techniques and different systems might be needed, obviously, that they need to be in place. IP address whitelisting. So the IP address of the network that you're performing penetration testing has to be whitelisted on the customer end to make sure that their IDS system, their IPS system, their firewalls, they're not triggering a lot of alerts because of the scans you're running, because of the tests you're doing on their network. That's obviously an optional part and could be agreed between two parties, but that's always a good practice. So obviously a relaxed and quiet environment. And make sure that you track and document everything. So think about document management. Think about how you basically want to track all the activities you're performing on the customer environment. So the steps of penetration testing, there are a few high-level steps. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but the steps are reconnaissance, scanning and enumeration, vulnerability assessment, exploitation and access, and reporting. So these are the steps. We're talking about the steps in the future slides, but at a high level there are different steps that has to be taken in order to perform a successful penetration testing. As a final note, make sure you document. Very important. Just cover yourself, because it is very easy to fall in trap and just get distracted from basically the path that you're going, and that could have legal consequences. So make sure you document everything.